So I started learning C++ around like a month or a month and a half ago, and that's also around the same time I started learning computer architecture. I've been using a book called Computer Organization and Design by Patterson and Hennessy, the RISC-V edition, and I wanted to actually build a program that would solidify my understanding of that. So I thought of making a simple little RISC-V decoder at first, but then it ended up expanding a bit more, and I also made an interpreter, and now I have a goal of making a full-on CPU emulator of RISC-V because of that. So right about now, I've probably hit like the first checkpoint where things are still pretty easy so far, but it might ramp up pretty soon once I start getting into the later chapters of the book. But I wanted to document what I have so far, and I could also get tips from you guys in the comment section below if you guys have any tips or recommendations I could do. This is essentially like my first write. I haven't done many rewrites yet. I maybe just refactored a little bit, but not like a whole rewrite of like a lot of features. So I still have to refactor a lot. It's not perfect. It's just my first iteration of what I know based off my little experience in C++ and computer architecture. Alright, so let's start with the decoder first. As you can see here in my main file, I have like different modes to get like this assembler decoder, the interpreter, and then I have an interpreter for loading in the bin file. So they're like separate, manual input first and then loading the bin file. And then a random Fibonacci program, that's just hard coded, so I need to get rid of that later. Alright, so let's show what this decoder is doing first. So once I get in here, I select 1, and it asks me to enter a 32-bit string from RISC-V assembly. So I have a couple here. So this one's for the add-I instruction. So we're taking x6, adding that to the immediate 15 and storing that in our destination register of x5. And once we put in the binary string here, it'll output that instruction. We can do a couple others. We have the load byte instruction here, and looks like it did that perfectly. And instruction, so arithmetic one, and that seems to be perfect as well. And the multiply instruction, I just implemented that last night, and that also seems to work. So that's essentially what it does. And it does that for all these instructions here: the control instructions, memory instructions, and arithmetic instructions. We can actually look at what it's doing. So first we have in our main CPP, we have the get binary. So we enter the binary bit string, and then it converts that into the actual binary value using this function here. And these are all like the logic for the layout of bits in our 32-bit. I'm not going to go into this too in depth. This is kind of how an instruction would be laid out in these bits. So you'd have like an immediate for the first 12 bits here, the upper bits, and then you have the register source 1, func3, destination register, and the opcode. And these all translate to different things, and different instruction types have different layouts. So if you want a further explanation, I can like go into a deep dive of this code. Right now I'm just explaining simply what's going on here, but yeah, if you want a deep dive of everything, I can do that. But yeah, essentially to get all these fields for every type of instruction, I basically have to do bit masking and bit shifts, and that makes it so that all the bits are in their right places and I can extract them properly when I need to identify the type of instruction. Now we have here instruction to strings just to basically access the name of it. So I have like a simple little switch case statement here, just getting all the instructions here, what it should return once we go into main and actually get the choices. And now here's where all the logic for the instruction type goes on here. So if you look at the reference for these assembly instructions, right, all these are distinguished by opcodes, and then further distinguished by func3s and potentially func7s if they have them. And that's basically what I'm checking for here. If the opcode is a certain opcode for a certain instruction and func3 is a certain type, we will output this instruction and then get all the values initialized for them. And it's essentially just a long if-else block for all these instructions. This is the best way I thought of doing it now. I did hear like I could use a stud map, but I haven't gotten there yet in my C++ learning, so I might do that eventually in a rewrite, but this is what I have for now. You guys can give suggestions in the comments below. And all those are defined in the header file. Like we have an enum class here that defines all the types here, the instruction type and the specific instruction. So 2 separate enum classes there, and then basically just the forward declarations for the rest. And this is a struct declaration to get the actual decoded instruction to identify the instruction type. Once you select the mode, here's where all like the logic happens. So if we chose choice 1, it basically initializes all the values like the binary string, and if it's quit, we know it quits out, it breaks out, and we initialize the decoded instruction struct with the function name for the decode instruction value. And so we have the if statement here that basically checks for the instruction type and then gives the layout of how the instruction is written. Because we know like different instructions are written in a different way. Like for the add instruction, it's written with add the name, destination register, source register 1, and source register 2. But a different instruction like load byte doesn't have like RS1, RS2, so we need to identify the instruction and then print out the way that it's written. And that's essentially the decoder right there. It took a couple days. I've been documenting this all on stream, by the way, so if you guys want to hop in the stream, you guys are welcome to. Okay, so now we can actually look at the interpreter. This is where things get a bit more interesting. And there's actually two different modes that I made. A manual input mode, so the user can manually input just like the assembler, and loading a bin file, which just takes the binaries and just loads in that file and automatically prints it out, whatever the instructions are, putting them into registers. So the way that the interpreter actually works, we're actually simulating memory in a simple way. So I have a struct for memory right here, and I have a vector so the memory can be dynamically resized, and I have a struct for the different cores where all the registers are stored, and I have a function for writing to the register and reading the register as well. And a struct for memory is just for those store and load instructions, because those don't function like these ones exactly. We need an extra step to actually read the memory or write to the memory. We can actually look at the distinction right here. Load instructions are values to registers, whereas these store instructions are registers to values. So that's an instruction we need to actually set how we can read from memory and write to memory. So now we can actually look at how it's actually implemented in our CPP file. So this is like the loading program to actually load in the file. So we have to use std if stream and then actually load the file. I still don't understand this fully. I still need to look into this a lot more. So yeah, I still need to refresh upon the whole loading files into C++ thing. Then we have the actual implementation of the functions for writing to the register, reading the register, reading byte, reading half word. I can explain all of this if you guys want in depth, but for now, we're just going through this right now just to show you guys what I got. And here's where it's actually simulating these instructions and memory. So every program has like a program counter, and that's incremented by 4 for each instruction. And now here's the actual interpretation of the actual instructions. So earlier it was just defining the instructions by what we have based off the bit string, like the opcode and the functory and all that. But now it's actually simulating what it actually does here in the description, like how it's actually being added, multiplied, or loaded. So in the case of add I, let's just do a simple example. Add I takes register source 1, we're reading that value in register source 1, adding it to an immediate value, storing it in destination register, which is what it shows here. And once that's done, we actually have the core running now. So we have a while statement while the program's not halted. So essentially, if it doesn't hit any of the eBreak, eCall, or unknown, it doesn't halt and it keeps running the program. So while it's not halted, you implement the instructions. So this is actually the fetch, decode, and execute cycle. So this is fetching the instruction, decoding it, and then executing it in, and it actually simulates memory. So let's give like a little example here. So go into 2 for the interpreter manual mode, and let's just take one of our instructions here. So this one is add I, and we're adding x6, loading the immediate of 15, adding that, and storing that into the register for x5. And let's actually see how that is here. So if we implement the bit string, and let's say done here just to show, so done, we can actually see in x5 it loaded the value of 15, which is what we actually wanted. And I actually forgot to show you guys in main how it's actually implemented. So in main it's just like this. It's just pretty simple here. For choice 3, it's just we're loading the file name instead. And here's actually the Fibonacci program I have here. It's just a hard-coded thing just to see how it works. I just wanted to do a little bit of coding logic to see how the Fibonacci program would work. And we can actually take this Fibonacci program, and I actually have a bin file for it. It'll actually do the exact same thing as 4. So that's the bin file I have, and as you can see here, it loads in these values to these registers, and it'll be the same if you check with the 4th one, which are hard-coded. As you can see here, it's the exact same. So yeah, that's like my basic project I have here so far. I plan to keep on coding it on stream, implementing more stuff. I think the next thing we have upcoming is floating point unit stuff, which is a completely different thing I have to do. It needs more logic, different registers and stuff. So that's gonna be interesting. I do it all on stream. I try to do as much as possible from scratch. I do use Claude for like a little bit of like understanding the logic, some little code snippets like one-liners if I don't understand something, but most of it I try to do from scratch. But sometimes I can't if I don't understand it fully. So yeah, you guys can give me tips in the comments below if I can actually implement some other stuff here. And yeah,